Okay, it says determine the exact values of 6 trigonometric functions. So I have sine of theta. And what's the ratio for sine of theta? Y over r. And so y over r. Cosine of theta is x over r. Tangent of theta. Now, the other three, if we're going to do 6, the other three are not that bad at all. They're just the reciprocals. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So what's the reciprocal? What's the reciprocal of cosine? This could be secant, which is r over x. And the reciprocal of tangent will be cotangent, which is yeah. If you didn't, it's okay. We'll get it worked out. Okay. Now, they give us our point. Okay. So what's my x value? X value is 3 over 5. What's the y value? Now, I do need one more variable. What variable is not listed up there? R. What do you think R is? 1. Most of the time when we're working in the unit circle, it will be 1. But there are times we step outside the unit circle, and then it's not 1 anymore. So let's make sure that it's 1. And in order to do that, you can use your equation for a circle. X squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. What does that look like that you've learned before? Pythagorean theorem. So we will square it to make sure we do get 1 for the radius. Okay? So what's my x value? 3/5. And I square that. Y value. And I will square that. And let's see what we get. What do you get if you, how do you square a fraction? You square the top and the bottom. What's the top squared? 9 over. What's -4 squared? 16 over. What's 9/25 plus 16/25? 25 over 25, right? Which is 1. So my R value is 1, isn't it? Yep. So good. R is 1. So let's list the sine value. What's the sine value going to be then? If you take y and divide it by 1, -4 over 5. Cosine value, 3 over 5. Tangent, -4 over 5 divided by what? How do I divide fractions? Times it by the reciprocal. So times 5 over 3. What do you get? What happens to the 5s? Get -4 over 3. Yep. Now, you say to yourself, oh no, I've got 3 more problems to do. It's easy, folks. This is the reciprocal of that, right? What's the reciprocal of -4/5? What's the reciprocal of the next one? And what's the reciprocal of the last one? -3 over 4. You feel good? All right. Not bad, huh? They gave us the xy, figured it out. Okay? Let's look at example 3. It says use your calculator to evaluate the trigonometric function. Round your answer to 4 decimal places. This is where you're going to have to practice typing things into your calculator, and I'm going to help you do that. So take your calculator out. Okay. Now, the first thing you have to decide is whether you're working in degrees or whether you're working in radians. So raise your hand if you have some sort of a graphing calculator. 1, 2, no. Okay, on your graphic calculator, you press mode, and here it's radians and degrees, and you have to be able to transfer back and forth. So the first problem, sine of -2, is that in radians or is it in degrees? It's in radians because it does not have a degree symbol. So I'm in radians, so I will simply press sine of -2, and I get -0.9093. How far does it ask me to round it out? 4. Okay, very good. All right. So first of all, um, you need to make sure you get the same thing. So I'm going to come around. Okay, so here's a popular calculator. Raise your hand if you have a calculator somewhat like this. Okay, so here's what you're going to do is right here, right next to the second function, it says DRG. And if you hit DRG, it pops up DEG, RAD, and GRD. GRD is gradients. You're not going to use gradients ever, but you will move over to radians and you will press enter. And then you'll be in radians. Okay? What's that? I don't have time for that right now, but good question. Okay? Does anybody have a different calculator where they can't come up with that value? Everybody right now should make sure that they can come up with that negative 0.9093. Okay? No, this one's going to be different. And we have okay, let's look at B. Do you have a button on your calculator that looks like CSC? We don't. So we have to write it differently. It's the reciprocal of which one? Sine, cosine, or tangent? It's the reciprocal of sine. So we write it like this. 1 over the sine of pi over 5. And now we can evaluate it. Okay? So I'll take 1 divided by the sine of pi over 5. Make sure you have parentheses around the pi over 5. It's like mine. Change that. I get 1.7013. Letter C, am I in degrees or radians? Degrees. So what do you have to press? Yep, you got to go over to DRG or go on down into degrees. Okay, and we press cosine of 196. Negative 0.9613. For D, am I in degrees or radians? So I press mode, I go back to radians. Tangent of 5. Negative 3.3805. The last one, degrees or radians? radians. Do I have a secant button on my calculator? No. What is secant the reciprocal of? So I write 1 over the cosine of negative 3 pi over 7. Cosine's the reciprocal. You don't flip the 3 pi over 7 around. Why? I can't answer that right now, but you don't. Okay. Um, I don't think it would be productive. I think it will. I think the conversation will be long, and I think it will confuse us. Okay. So just trust me right there that that's what works. Okay. So we take 1 and we divide it by the cosine of negative 3 second pi divided by 7. And you should get 4.4940. So today, what did we learn how to do? We learned how to pick up some of the exact same problems that we did before, which were find the 6 trig values at a given point. And then we also evaluated the trigonometric functions like this. Okay? So, short assignment. Page 147, 1 through 4 are like the first problem that we did. And then 43 through 52, you use your calculator. Again, you have to come up with some type of a calculator like this that is sine, cosine, tangent other than your phone. Okay? That has to happen. Test time, I will not simply hand them out. Okay? Got to do that.